Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the DonnyChainGang. My name is Matt Payne. I'm going to be taking you through all of the action that's going to be happening over the course of the next hour or so as we head back to France for the final time. I promise you it must be the final time this month. We have been in France for 4 weeks now, 3 weeks doing our own Tour de France, and this week as an encore because Connor Swift, one of our regulars on the Chain Gang, completed it, and we're going to finish off in Paris on the Champs-Élysées with Swift. So we're going to be there all night tonight. The team all getting assembled, as you can see just over there, the far side. You will be able to see just heading that direction. All of the riders, you can see Russ there with the yellow beacon over his head. Russ Downing, of course, Downing Cycling. And myself, Matt Payne, stitching this together between us. And Russ responsible for pedalling. I'm responsible for talking. You know, we know our places very, very well. Now, I've got to say a massive thank you to Russ and Dean. As you can tell, I have this fantastic technical t-shirt on. They'd noticed that I needed something maybe a little bit more in terms of technical ability rather than just a standard t-shirt, and that's because the studio gets really warm down here. It might be a little bit colder, and the studio gets really, really hot. The processing power down here would heat a small city, to be brutally honest, and whilst we might have green electricity supplying it, it still gets really hot. So got a nice technical t-shirt available from Russ and from Dean at Downing Cycling, and one way you can show your support for the DonnyChainGang is to get on there and get them bought as well, and lots of socks and t-shirts and jumpers and jackets and gabba jackets and riding kit as well. But it would look very silly if I was down here broadcasting to you in a skin suit or in a gabba jacket. In fact, in a gabba jacket it'd probably just be a molten pile of mats. So we're not going to do that. We've got the technical t-shirt, which is available. Great for, say, going to the gym, doing some weights, doing some stretching in, which, as any cyclist knows, absolutely essential, and none of us do enough of it, particularly on the way back from injury. Now, as I said, we're back in France once again this week. It is the last week. Let's get some confirmation of that from the man who has to pedal his way around all of these courses, and that is from Russ Downing. So we're going to get hold of Russ. Let's see if we can get him on the phone. First time, every time. Famous last words. We shall soon find out.
Hey,
now then, Russ, how are you?
I'm not bad.
Oh, looks like Russ is just disappearing out on the old tech here. I'm just going to... You can see my facing closer. That's because we're just playing with the tech, just to try and find Russ once again. He seems to disappear quite quickly today. Hello, Russ. Hello, Russ. Are you there? Yeah, I'm just hitting the tape just to try and make sure that we've got you. Your signal is a bit hit and miss. How are you?
I'm alright, mate. Yeah, good.
That's better. We can hear you properly now. So I was just saying to all the viewers that we're not going to go back to France for a while, and I promised them that, but I thought we'd better get it from the horse's mouth, get it from yourself. Please tell me, no more France for a bit.
Okay. Oh, you know, we had a good 3 weeks, and then I put it out there over the weekend, and people wanted to go back, so they went back.
We did indeed, and we're finishing on the Champs-Élysées again, which is the only right place to finish in, so that's where the tour finishes. Is it the same finish line that we've used most of the time, which is the orange lap line, or are we going to go all the way up the hill to the green?
I think we'll stick to what we know best and go on the orange banner.
Okay.
Which is, what is it, a couple of 200 metres out of that right-hand corner after we've gone on the underpass. So, yeah, it's a good finish. Made for fat cyclists, so we'll let him have another rip up.
Well, he's going well at the moment, isn't he? He's the man to beat, that is for sure, because he seems to be on some serious form, does Gareth. So the question is, I'm not sure whether he's going to have this one, or I noticed Kieran Smith is back. Kieran has done well on this course in the past.
Oh yeah, that should be a good battle then. That's just made my legs even more trying to keep up with those two and rally the troops at the same time. But yeah, I'm sure we'll be right. I'm sure they'll kickstart themselves back in.
Definitely. I hope you've had enough coffee. I was just, as we opened, drinking more of the Grand Tour coffee, and I realised I'm getting towards the last of my full gas. I certainly don't want to be going on to anything that's like a decaf one, like the wheel sucker. Not when we've got plenty of chain gangs coming up.
think I've got 3 bags of wheel sucker in the cupboard and not once have I opened it. I don't. If you're drinking coffee, you're drinking coffee for a reason. It's to move forward at full gas, really.
Yeah, definitely all talk at full gas, that is for sure. And looks like going to need it tonight. We said it's finish at the Orange, which means we've got the running, which is I think 3.2 kilometres if I remember correctly, and we'll see that in a minute. And of course then 6 laps to complete. Have you got a plan for how long it's likely to stay together? Have you got your fingers crossed for a certain number of laps?
Well, I think of the 6 laps. I'm just going to actually post the plan, and it's pretty straightforward. 6 laps with a few sprints thrown in there. So, like I said earlier on the phone, it's all right saying you've got a sprint. We've got guys out the back, so just gotta read the event and see how it's going and see what we can do. But yeah, I think we'll probably do 2, if not more, with a go.
No, it'll be interesting to see when you say go. And as you say, it does need to be dynamic, doesn't it? That's one of the advantages of the chain gang, is that we keep it dynamic, we keep it fluid, and it adapts to who's on. Speaking of which, looks like the Fat Cyclist has just joined us, so looks like it's going to definitely be a fast one at the very end. But of course, we feature everybody, don't we? And hence why we have a little bit of extra distance on the end.
That's it, yeah. I think if he's come on, I think I've just got a flat tyre or something. I can't be. I don't think I've got it in me to get my head kicked in again.
Come on, you know you love it really. Well, listen, we're going to let you get off and get all the messages out there. We've got just less than 5 minutes to go to the start of the event, and look forward to having a little bit of a catch-up and a head scratch, and let's see where we end up next week. Who knows, we might get inspired by the performances at Imola this weekend, because I know a number of the Downey cycling riders are actually riding this weekend, aren't they?
Yeah, we just had Alex up there. I think she ended up 19th in the TT.
Yeah.
So that was not bad, good solid ride there. And then the road event's coming in the next couple of days, so yeah, it should be good fun. Definitely
going to be interesting to see. Who knows, it might inspire you to in your choices of selection of courses. We'll see next week. Don't forget, everyone, you can catch up with Russ and myself on the Facebook page, on the DonnyChainGang Facebook page. Make sure you give us a follow on there, and of course on the Downey Cycling YouTube channel, make sure you subscribe to that as well. Russ, we'll let you get on, and we'll bring everybody the courses.
Nice t-shirt, by the way.
I know, I've been extolling the virtues of it. It's very comfy, and in this hot house it is, for those who don't know, the studio is in a cellar, which means that it's normally quite cool, but at the moment, actually, relative to everywhere else, it's quite hot. So it's a good job we're in I'm in a technical t-shirt today, and that is for sure.
You might need to stand up and give us a twirl. You can only see the little strap.
Well, there's a bit of a tiny technical issue, because we did say that we'd lost the broadcast camera, and that is true. This is the camera that is the backup, and until we get some more, another camera, you see, I just sort of, go for the flex the muscles bit. What you can't see is the stomach below. The six-pack is hidden in this t-shirt quite nicely, it has to be said. So, yeah, great t-shirt, and we'll just move the camera back, because as we move in, it's going to change. So the power of the wonders of the current webcam means that you don't get it in full Technicolor. As you can tell, it's a little bit gaunt, a bit like me, but there you go. Right, Russ, you get going.
That camera just looks like you have been in your cellar for the full lockdown.
It feels like, well, if anybody's got a spare webcam at home and wants to give you the full colour one, I've had to. We've lost the full proper colour one. This is the backup camera, and at the moment, given that there's no work going on for any commentators, pretty much going in terms of live events like which I focus on, I'm not buying another one because I can't afford it. It's really straightforward. So if anyone's got a camera at home which does better colour than this one, donate it quickly and you'll get Technicolor, not washed out matte, I promise you. I'll go out and stand in the sunshine or get rusty in the rain just so that we can prove it works. Right, Russ, 2 minutes to go. Go tight quick.
Okay, Matt, have a good one, mate.
And you, catch you soon. So that is Russ there, and great to have Russ on the phone, and tell us just how pasty I look. Thanks, mate. Hopefully, there's plenty of people with permatan legs when we head out onto the course. Let's go for the map first of all, and the map as it shows you, this is shaped like a very long, elongated shovel with a handle at the top and the red section, the flat of the pan at the bottom. Now, the running is the red section. We start almost adjacent to the finish line. We drop on from the chevrons, which look like the back of an arrow, the fletches of an arrow, dropping down from those feathers down and round the circuit. We go in an anti-clockwise manner, go round the Jardin de Tuileries, the Tuileries Gardens. We go round the bottom section. We make our way back round and then head back up the course, or up to the top, up the climb, round the Champs-Élysées climb, over around the Arc de Triomphe at the top, before dropping back down again. Now, anyone who thinks this circuit is flat and easy, forget it. It isn't, and we'll show you exactly why. As we said, we're talking with Russ, 6 laps of the circuit, starting and ending on the orange beacon, the orange banner. We will have some sprints at the intermediate sprint, that's just up near the top of the climb, and that sprint line is a very quick sprint line, very difficult to get right because of the gradient. Let's show you that gradient. The profile provided by the wonders of Velo Viewer. Got to say a massive, massive thank you to the guys at Velo Viewer. Without them, we can't make this happen. It really is that simple. Their graphics are absolutely top notch, used by pro teams everywhere, and that is absolutely vital for the teams and for us and for commentators everywhere. Because we all use this technology. It is amazing. Now, as you can see, that pan handle itself is going up towards the top of the screen, the flat of the pan down at the shovel down by the Velo Viewer graphic, and the Velo Viewer graphic showing us that the underpass at the bottom is a slight drag. It's a 5% drag, the steepest part of the course. However, it is very, very slight indeed. When we move across to the long climb up, you can see we have a flat section moving into the climb. Those yellow sections of the climb are where it gets more technical and gets more difficult, and that is where we are waiting to see the riders go on the attack when we get to the later laps. For now, it's all about holding it together as we go up that section of climb, and the sprint is up near the top. It's actually about 1.4k after the start. So as we roll out from the pen, we go round the loop at the bottom, we go up onto the climb, and as you can hear, our riders are just about starting to head out onto the course. So let's have a little bit of a look, and we'll drop across to the chain gang. So remember that profile. Our riders at the moment just heading out, and you can just see the top of the map just heading towards the split of the section. So let's focus in on that, and let's get a look at our riders and see how that bunch is holding together. So here on the DonnyChainGang, we're going to take a little bit of a map view on the right hand side. We're going to take a look and just look at the top of the top right hand side of the screen. And this is the map section. Now, as you can see, one or two of our riders are just being distance. Looks like Charlie Babbitt being left on the start line despite kicking out somewhat. So we're going to see if he can jump back in again. Hayward just behind Russ Downing here. Rick van der Gate going in. You just see Hayward just coming past Russ there. And it looks like the only rider out and left is Charlie Babbitt. Let's drop in with Charlie and let's see what he's up to. Charlie has now set off from the start line, and despite having kicked out a load of watts, has been distanced on the run away. Looks like Maddie Smith also left on the start line, just trying to jump into this group. Now Maddie has jumped out and jumped in. Charlie might want to jump out and jump back in again. As you can see, Maddie Smith jumping into the group with Russ Downing there, and these are our last two riders within touching distance of the bunch. If we take a little look, you can see on the top right of your screen on the map, our riders steadily working the way up. So a few issues for one or two people. Meanwhile, the bunch up near the front are going a little bit quickly. We're going to take a little bit of a look. I think Mr. Little is just holding them steady. We'll have a little bit of a look on the front. Let's see if we can drop in with Little. He is indeed. So at the moment you can just see the bunch dropping down the top here and working their way down in towards that lower section. We're just taking a little bit of a look at the bunch here, and it's certainly looking like it is pretty close together, just with one of the riders who animated Tuesday. That bunch, it is thinned out, and as you can just see, the group is spread out a little bit at the moment. The main bunch is up at the front. Now, on the front, let's see who is giving it some hammer right up at the front. We're going to drop right to the front, and let's see if we can pick up any of these riders, maybe giving it a bit too much. At the moment, Trevor Crehan is rolling round at about just sub 3. The key here is not to roll onto the front at 3 watts per kilo. The key here is to keep it nice and steady. We're going to drop over the top of the front of the bunch. You can see it's spread all the way across the road at the moment, just in with Crehan, who's just dropping his way through. Now, one or two of these riders are just pushing on at 3 watts per kilo. That's not going to make them many friends with the very front of the bunch. So certainly looking to me like the front of the bunch is pushing on here, leaving the back of the bunch behind. The gaps at the moment stretched out. So we're going to drop back a little bit here. We're going to focus on those riders right on the front. Please guys, if you go into the front, make sure that you sit there. Do not go up to the front at 3 watts per kilo, because you are going to cause major splits behind. So just dropping in with James Allen here. We've got James just in with Hawkins. Hawkins just jumping onto the bunch here. We're going to focus on the back of this group. We're just trying to get themselves back in touch with this front group. Key to this is not to roll on. James Allen put a great article on the Facebook page and some great posts. Really easy, guys. Key to this, don't roll to the front at 3 watts per kilo. Sit slightly further back, let the front back off. If you all roll to the front at 3 watts per kilo, it's really easy. You'll all get a hammering, because at some point it'll go a lot faster, and the group will not reform. It equally means that Russ won't call any sprints, so it might be that that's in your game plan. But the chain gang works. We don't tether it, we don't pin it, there's no fence around everybody, and that's something that could be done, but it would spoil everybody's enjoyment. So please guys, keep it steady on the way up along the straights. So currently in with Hawkins here, just going to just having a minor technical issue there with the trying to spit us back out. Definitely don't want to do that as we take a look down on Hawkins, and looks to me. We're just taking a little bit of a look back through the group as we steadily work our way back down and through. It's like Edith Gilbert in this group. Emma Collier's back once again. Just keeping an eye. Sam Emsley's here. Fat Cyclist made it. Flanders Fraser's back in. Dave Farron is in. Adi Dench. Craig Genther. James Allen. Martin Bolt sitting on the back of the group, currently having to do 2.8 watts per kilo just to sit with the back of the group, and that says a lot about just how fast it's going. Let's take a little bit of a zoom out here, and as you can see, it is splitting the group, the pace on the front already. So we're seeing Gary, the muscle mechanic, James Allen just dropping back to give him a hand, and Matlock at the moment being distanced a little bit. Just seeing these guys just get distanced, and just keeping an eye on the riders in frontless like Dobson, just not wanting to get dropped too far off the back of that group. If we take a little bit of a look, our riders just coming up towards that green beacon, which is the green banner, which is the sprint time of going up the sprint. No sprint this time around as our riders ride the way through. As you can see, it's only about 18 seconds at the moment for the riders going in and through. But what's absolutely key for our riders is that they take it easy as they go over and around the Champs-Élysées, because if they don't, what you'll find is that that group will split immensely as it goes in and through. As you can see, it's one long line at the moment, and we're just keeping an eye, just seeing where those riders are as they come around the top of the Champs-Élysées. It will split. You can see those gaps on the camera. You can see the gaps in front of Bolt here. These 10 riders are certainly back. Won't get on unless that front bangs the pace right off at the moment. So as you can see, the back of this group as go round the Champs-Élysées. Looks like James Allen just dropping back to give the muscle mechanic and Martin Bolt a hand. Sutcliffe just off the back of this group and just moving his way up. The riders coming through. This is Bolt now. 3 chasers at the moment. They're on 15 seconds, 15 seconds, and as you can see, the group in front starting to pull clear as they go down onto the descent. So we've covered about 3/4 of a lap. The front of the bunch not behaving itself tonight, which means that there's going to be a response, no doubt, from Russ and the rest of the gang. As you can see, the back of this group is absolutely hammered here, and it is split well over a number of seconds here. So we're going to just take a little bit of a spin back. As you can see, the bunch rolling down here reasonably quickly. Behind them though, 1s and 2s, riders scattered out. And just taking a little bit of a look, it looks like Matlock here being distanced, just still waiting for Craig Genther at the moment. Kooslugs, James Allen, Martin Bolt, the muscle mechanic, Mike Selko, all being distanced off the back of this group. Substantial time gaps already, well in excess now of 25 seconds from front to back. So as you can see now, we have about 4 distinct groups here. We have the group chasing hard behind, and this is the Martin Bolt group. Mike Selko distance behind, even further behind them. You got the muscle mechanic in there now. It looks like Matlock working hard here. Craig Genther, Dave Cass is going to be here. Let's see where they're going to be. It looks like Toby Perry's dropping back for riders. Russ Downing dropping back for riders. The rest of this group, though, are fairly tramming on at the front. We can take a little bit of a look at some of these riders on the front of the group. So, yeah, again, the front of the group rolling round at between 3 and 3.6 watts per kilo to get onto the front. So, clearly, a number of riders on the front not wanting the back to get back together again. So this rear group here just starting to reform. So good to see Waters Brandy on here from Holland. The Dutchman making his way onto the chain gang. Great to see lots of the pros starting to return, and we expect to see more and more of that as we go towards the end of the season. Now a big group have formed here, just pulling them on to the back now. They made it onto the back of the Russ Downing group. There's about 15 there, so we have about a group of about 70 on the front, 15 or so in a group behind Martin Bolt at the moment, with Toby Perry just a little bit further back, and just going to try and drop in with them at the moment. Toby Perry's dropped back, the Latova rider coached by the guys on the front at the back, and it looks like 15 seconds, if not more, in fact 17 seconds to the front group, the back of the front group, the front of the front group a lot further up the road, as you can see. So at the moment it is Martin Bolt and Toby Perry who are just trying to get back. on to the group. Looks like the group are not helping particularly much on the front. They're now over 20 seconds to the very front of the group. So 24 seconds right to the front of the group, and I think there's going to be a bit of a call out here for the front to take the pressure off. We've only completed less than one complete lap plus the warm-up. We're just making our way around towards the underpass, and at the moment the back is at 24 seconds, and that is a big ask at the moment. Just with Martin Bowen to jump in with Toby Perry, one of the Downey Cycling coach riders. So here we go, down into the underpass. The guys dropping down, you get a good clear look at this. Looks like Russ Downing, a number of riders dropping back. Looks like Callaway and Allen doing the same as well. And as you can see, Bolts and Perry just cresting the top of the hill. They come around the side of the gardens. They're going to try and close down on the three in front who are going to help them try and get back on to the group. Perry doing a great job here at 3.5 watts per kilo. Front group is definitely split into 4 or 5 groups now at the moment, with the front still continuing to push on. So Russ, Downing, James Allen and Callaway there on the way through. Perry just continuing to push maybe a little on the hard side. The group behind going to have to work now to jump in with that group, and it looks like James Allen in with that group now. Let's see the group get back on again. The front group definitely not holding at the watts per kilo that's being shouted out at. We're seeing some regular offenders going to the front. So I'm sure there's soon going to be a call to name and shame those on front, guys. You have been warned. Shame time. Here we go. From the top, riders sitting up well over 2 watts per kilo. Let's see who's going to get the name of shame, or have we got all of our riders back on again? Let's see. And it looks like the gaps are still there. 2 watts per kilo, please, guys. That's what we're going to need. Let's see who is going to be rolling round. Mr. Bird, knock the pace off, sunshine. You are going regularly over 3. Mr. Manaki, well over 3. You know better, Matt. Come on, knock that pace right off. Noah Dallas, Noah, come on, you got really good on Tuesday. You know how to do this. Let's have a little look up near the front. Let's see who is going through far too quickly. 3.4 watts per kilo, a lot more than 2. Mr. Raccoon, are we going to get you on the front going too quickly? Let's see who is rolling in. Dean, I am Dean. Come on, mate, knock that pace off. And yet again, the group splits. Let's have a look. Who else is on the front? Richardson coming through at 6 watts per kilo up to the front and then banging it to 0. That's not helpful, mate. Mr. Keb, no, it's definitely not you. Let's have a little look and see who's up on the front, shall we? Let's take a little bit of a look back. The back of the beacon still working his way onto the group. Ah, Poke the Bear. That would be Mr. Dainty, I think. It's certainly one of the riders. Perils of having your picture shown on the screen, mate. Always dangerous. So let's have a little look. Who's going to go? Nobody said the sprint is on. Oh, let's have a little look. Not quite sure people realise, guys, if you're watching this, Russ has eyes, he can see, he sees this live, in real life. He sees who's gone for it. Right, so it looks like it's not Mr. Dainty. Which means we can always go for the... go for the full-on save the picture. Male, age 47, 175 centimetres, born in the UK. Regular rider. Current picture showing a cystic fibrosis. Very interesting to see that doing the jersey lots of good. Showing it off with pride clearly as Poke the Bear. Meanwhile, let's concentrate on the people who are actually helping each other. It's always very handy at the moment. So Cusack, Allen, Bolts, Perry, all working together well here. Gonna jump in, James Allen, one of our regulars, working well here. Let's jump in with one of our regulars. Good to see you back. As Cusack is back in with the group. Currently 14 seconds from the back group to the front. Chris Heseltine James from the team is here. James Allen working well. Looks like Tony Perry is here. Mr. Stevenson from out the south and Mr. Miller. Good to see Miller back. One of our very, very quick riders. Let's jump in with Miller. He's one of the riders who we know has got some serious speed. So Miller working well in with this group of four. Just holding it tight with that group, looking good at the moment. Rich Orrell just coming up on to the side behind him. You can just see that group of three forming around Martin Bolt. Bolt currently sitting, well, looks to be about 10 seconds back on the front group. Steadily closing that gap down. James Allen, Kushak, Matlock, Donahue, Perry, all working hard here to try and close that gap down. Time gaps opening back up once again. as you can see that beacon with Russ just up the road, just holding at the back of the group. This is the group currently chasing hard here, Kujak and Allen, along with Bolt. 3 riders, 15 seconds down at the moment on the front group. The front group shedding 1 or 2 Matlock at what is going to be 6 seconds off the back of the front group at the moment. 17 seconds now to the front group. So it looks like we're going to have a sprint at the next green beacon, which is some way away, and we are going to try and get on there. So Bolt just on his way down the descent onto the climb now, and just watching Martin work his way on here. You see the gradient of this climb as you come up and over the crest, cresting out at 5 degrees. Not particularly steep for the section there, but it's long enough to put some time and gaps in, and then working hard these at 3. But looks like that front group are not going to ease off anytime soon. Let's jump back in with that front group in a second. Won't be long before it gets us back up there. From the map at the top, the riders are behind and being distanced by some margin. However, it is going to be very, very tough as we work our way up onto the climb. The gradient increases in 2 steps. At the moment, plenty of riders feeling the pace as riders go on to this ascent. James a little really winding it up here. We're going to be going for the sprint. Let's see if a Little's got the power to make this count. Just watching Little in here. He's one of the riders who really animated things on Tuesday. The front of this group working hard. Maniki's up here. Looks like Sabrandi is giving it some beans very, very early here. Let's jump in with him at the moment. So here we go. He's on the front. He's got it sitting currently at about 4.7 watts per kilo. It's not long till we're going to see the green beacon on the right hand side. That green trigger, which is the start of the sprint. Times to Brandy really winding it up nice and early here as he comes in now. We're going to see that green line start to appear. Here it goes. Here's the green line. He's going to give it a kick now. Russ is coming up on his outside though, and Russ may well have got the timing absolutely spot on here. He's gone very, very early though. He's going to be the first rider in and through the line. He's going to set the fastest time. Will it be enough though to make it stick? Russ Downing with a 10.73, but the fat cyclist has come through from the back using the drafting, and he's come through. What's the brand? He's 11.6.9. No, a match for two of our riders. Stevenson from out of the saddle, a 9.82. Not quite going to take the top. The fat cyclist with a 9.28, the fastest of the men riding through at the moment. I think it's going to be Millie Skinner who is in the women's fastest sprint time. Let's just drop in with the fat cyclist first of all. He's our men's sprint leader at the moment with a 9.28. Backed right off the pressure here at 1.1 watts per kilo, and that is to give the guys a chance to come back on. As you can see, our riders are now scattered all the way out and around the Champs-Élysées and around the Arc de Triomphe, around the roundabout at the top of the hill. And as you can see, the fat cyclist just backing off the brakes to get back into the group. We're going to work our way down. We're just going to have a little hunt for the women's green jersey. I suspect it is with Millie Skinner. I think Millie was the rider who went in very, very hard indeed. We're just going to jump in first of all with Jess Evans. Jess in up near the front group here. Jess without the fastest time. We're going to have a little look now. Jess currently right up there, very, very close. We're just going to have a little look just to see who has got the fastest time through there. In terms of women, it could well be that Jess was nearly there. Just have a little bit of a look for anybody else who is going to have taken that time away from Jess. At the moment, just can't see anybody. Just having to fight our way through the group to identify. It could be this Edith Gilbert who's got the green jersey. Edith, a world-class mountain biker, riding for the Top Performance squad. So our group still struggling to reform, split well over a minute and a half, 1 minute 30 plus from top to bottom, from the front to the back of the group at the moment. Just jumped in with Edith Gilbert, who's sitting on leather in the orange. The Top Performance rider is the women's sprint winner. Just backing off the pace in with that leading group at the moment, just behind Russ Downing. If we zoom out, you'll see that there are riders now all the way down the side here at 20k, so still just under half distance. 45k's in total. This leading group up here looks like it is formed of pretty much most of our regulars. Edith Gilbert getting herself into this group as well. So Jess Evans up in the leading group. In terms of female riders, Jess Evans definitely up in the mix. Looks like Edith Gilbert in the mix as well. Slowly working our way through the names on here. Gail Phillips in with the group. Just going to get a quick check of where Gail is. Yep, Gail is in this group as well. And as you can see, this group's got a fairly substantial one moving its way down the straight here. So Gail making that front group as well. Just keeping an eye out. Looks like the next group on the road is currently sitting at 14 seconds. Let's see if we can jump into group 2. So this is group number 2. This is a pretty substantial group here. Let's take a little bit of a look. The gap at the moment, it is about 10 seconds. So this is group number 2. This is a pretty substantial group here. We have about 10 riders in group 2. Behind them though, we still have a number of riders not too far behind. Looks like James Allen on the back there. On the front though, the pace doesn't seem to have dropped down much. Still seeing plenty of big numbers on the front, plenty of 3s and 4 watts per kilo on the front of the group. Of group number 1, I think Russ just going up to the very front. So we're going to take a little bit of a look down the group and see where everybody is. Let's jump in first of all with the Beacon. Beacon is not the last man on the road, but Kushak and Bolt are currently still working as a 2-up time trial, just coming onto the Jardin and coming around the side of the garden and along towards the edge of the Seine. 36 seconds in front, Emma Collier just on her own. 30 seconds in front of Emma is Carl Johnson. So Carl has 1 minute and 8 on Martin Bolt and Co. Donahue of Barnsley in a group of 3, including Miss Cookie and the Muscle Mechanic. They have nearly 2 minutes on Bolt at the moment. They are 35 seconds down on our leaders. 35 seconds down, James, who is James Allen, who's off the back 15 seconds from the back of the front group. Looks like Little just dropping back to help our riders as well. So Perry and Little at the moment 5 seconds behind the back of the main group. James Allen 9 seconds behind. Looks like Maddie Smith is behind this main group, currently sitting at about 30 seconds down on the group as well. And it is really well and truly spread out as these riders come through. So let's just jump in with that front group. This is the leading group on the road at the moment. As you can see, it's still well strung out, although the front is bunching. The back of the group is a long tail of riders. So these guys at the back are taking it nice and steady. The guys on the front keeping on pushing on as we go towards the front of the group. We can take a little bit of a look up to the front here. Millie's one of our regular riders, one of the Downey cycling riders, snug in this group. So here we go, that's Millie Skinner in that front group, riding strongly at the moment. Gail Phillips is in there as well. Just rolling away down through these riders, certainly looking good at the moment. It is pretty quick on the front. As these riders are coming through, we're seeing plenty of 5 watts per kilo on the front of the group, that is for sure. Pictures speak for themselves, don't need to say too much. The front on the camera at the moment. this is our leading group of riders now on the way up, separated not too much in terms of distance from the riders behind, because pretty much everybody onto the climb with the exception of the red beacon, those riders around at the back. However, as we go into the sprint, plenty of people going for it on this sprint on the way up the hillside, looking to improve on their time. The fat cyclist time of 9:28 is the time to beat. Looks like how he's going very hard there, trying to get in and through. He set a new PB of 12 seconds, 12.43, but nobody touching the top at times. Fat cyclist and Stevenson, the only two riders capable of going under 10 seconds at the moment, with a 9:28 for the fat cyclist, and Stevenson about the saddle with a 9:82. Toby Perry has been doing lots of the work out the back, bringing riders on from Latova at 10.20 in third. It's Little in fourth place with a 10.44. Ross Downing sitting inside that top 10. Miller, another of our riders, has been dropping back, helping riders that are back on as well. And as we take a little look, the entire group now lined out due to the sprint that everybody has just put in, which means that it's going to take a lot of regrouping. Jumping in with Mr. Thornley here, another of our regular riders, one of the Chevrolet riders, and as you can see, the riders are trying to just regroup as they've come up and over the top. This is where you've got to really push on. If you're at the back, if you're on the front, guys, please back it up, let them get a chance to come back on. It's in your own interest, you'll go quicker. That's how it works. Kieran Smith knows the score, he's sat nicely in this group. Take a look at Kieran, one of our regular riders. Will he be the man who's going to take it on from the front? And the words are indicated. Kieran doing 1.4 watts per kilo. We have our potential winners of this ride sitting in with this group. 26k done. This is what's left of the leading group. Watson Randy is in this group. Rick Van der Gaten here. Luke Taylor is back in as well. Both of our sprint leaders, the fat cyclist and Edith Gilbert, both in this group. So the group forming now around Ross Downing, just taking a look at the back to see these riders get themselves in. We'll see who is just feeling the pressure. I think McLaughlin has gone off the back a little here. The pressure just going on. Looks like Hawkins off the back. So Hawkins here just being distanced by that leading group. McLaughlin is 13 seconds up the road, 5 seconds behind the lead group. We're just going to take a little bit of a drop back. Looks like Maddie Smith being distanced by that leading group. Gareth Muscle Mechanic has a little bit of a group around him here. Great to see. It is going to be Miss Cookie who is in there. So good to see Sarah riding well. They've got Donahue in here. We've got Maddie Smith just up the road from them, behind them. Then Carl Johnson is working out, just coming around that turn. I think he's got Emma Collier behind him yet. Collier on her way up to the climb, up to the top. Behind Emma is Mr. Bolt. So we've got Bolt 30 seconds behind Collier. Collier chasing Carl Johnson. And then it is the group of Cookie, Muscle Mechanic, and Donahue just rolling around as a threesome here. This trio chasing Maddie Smith, who is on a 19-second lead on this group at the moment. Just about, I think, probably make them out behind Maddie. We'll take a little bit of a look back. You can just about make him out in the distance. So you can, my screen footage, you've got a really big screen here. One of 5 we have rolling. Now, just having a little bit of a look. Hawkins has been distanced by that front group as well. McLaughlin just about getting back in touch here. He's riding very, very tough at the moment. He's certainly putting on some serious pressure to get himself back in touch. He's pulled that gap back, and that is a seriously good piece of riding here by McLaughlin, who's now going to work his way through this group, this leading group of riders still all together. So rather nice work done there by McLaughlin, who works his way up. You can just see Russ being distanced at the moment, probably too busy typing to keep himself in there. So just in with George Cooper at the back of this group. George, another of our regular riders, one of the younger riders, a rider who is going to have to fight like crazy when we're on the flat sections and the downhill, because he's a very, very lightweight rider. However, when he goes to the uphill, he definitely gets a serious advantage. He's currently second in the overall standings, and as you can see, just working to stay in with the group. As soon as he gets to the climb, his watts per kilo will kick in, and that will help him close up the gap. You just see him just moving up on the shoulder of the riders, and that gap comes down because Cooper's watts per kilo come into effect on that steeper section. This leading group and now pretty much together, just Ross Downing sitting off the back of the group. Just going to dive in with Russ. Russ just rolling with Matlock there onto the back of the group. Hawkins is at 46 seconds, Maddie Smith at 140, 17 seconds behind her. You have that trio working the way on, and Ross here just working his way up towards the front of the group. So we go up with the drone cam at the moment. You can see this bunch holding together just about. Pressure is on, no one can afford to let any gaps go at this stage. The front is definitely hammering along, just over 3 watts per kilo seems to be the average on the front. But you see some 3.7, some 3.9s, seeing a few 4s and a few 4.5s by the riders who are trying to get themselves into the front group. The problem becomes that as the riders push through well over 4, it puts the pace on the front up. That's when things get difficult at the back. Now Russ going to the front of this group, looking to keep the riders under control, and it is Russ who is just rolling around the front here. 1 or 2 people are pushing on. They've seen the beacon go to the front. They think that that's an indication that something's going to happen. So through underneath the line we go. 30k total distance covered so far. Russ just sitting in with this group, just watching 1 or 2 people disappear off the back. We've seen 1 or 2 people going off the front at the moment, and that is a bit of a brave move at this stage. So one rider just picking off the front, Mr. Little going very, very early there. I think that's going to be a little bit tricky. Let's see what happens. Just watching the back of this group, just watching these gaps, make sure nobody leaves a gap. You can't afford to relax for a second. Great for the concentration levels for our riders on the way through. No gaps can be left. There is 1 or 2 opening at the back there. Remember, 6 meters or more and you're in trouble. Now's the time to push on. If you're in there, just watching those gaps starting to open. Remember, if you're sat in that group, you need to get yourselves up. You need to work together to close those gaps. Don't leave it to somebody else. If you do that, you're going to be in trouble. 2 riders now being distanced off the back of this group. They are going to be in trouble. They are going to lose the wheels, and I think that's 2 riders shed on the way through. We can't afford to do that too often, otherwise otherwise it will give major problems. Matlock leaving a little bit of a gap on the way through here. That is going to leave some work to be done by Skinner. Just seeing Russ just kicking his way up towards the front once again, and this group has split a little bit here. We're now at 31k, and it looks like damage is being done. Time to move up, folks. Russ is making his way up towards the front here. He's just used the feather flag in there. The two fastest times in the sprint, well and truly secure. The question is, will Russ let it go, or will he hold it together? There are some gaps that have opened at this stage. Russ just sitting in this, and go goes the signal. It is every man and a woman for themselves here. There is a little bit of an elite group who pushed on at the front, but nothing too major in the gaps behind. The question is who is going to make that grouping? Let's jump up in the sky, and you can just see Russ is on the front of this group. He's not putting too much pressure on at the moment. He's not wanting to do all of the work. Riders still coming up the Champs-Élysées to the Arc de Triomphe as this group rolls around. Looks like Bundy and Cass high on the fat cyclist. Cass, Gareth Mason, of course, who is just trying to stretch this group out. Will they be able to hold it away? Will they be able to keep it clear? I'm not sure that they're going to. There's a big old gap behind. We're going to jump back up into the sky. We're going to try and get a good look and see where the next big gaps are. At the moment, the computer screens are just fighting to stay with the riders. We're going to try and jump in with Pete Howis here, because Pete is one of our regular riders. He knows the score. He's going to try and keep that gap closed down. Howis at the moment, he's the rider in the grey, working to stay with that leading group. The gap has opened up in front of him, and let's see if we're going to get a response here. Cooper and Matlock working to close it down. Matlock's seen that gap go. He's going to try and close it down. Howis isn't able to do that, or he's choosing not to do this. Is Cooper going to come alongside? These three riders are going to be in danger of being distanced behind him. Looks like Jess rides bike. Looks like Ginger Angles, Stellar Peacock are in danger of being distanced here. Babbitt's been picked up after being left on the start line. Has jumped back in this group. He's a whole lap down, but he might be able to help the riders out. We're going to just jump in with Jess here. Jess rides bike, sitting on the back here of Babbitt. Babbitt able to close the gap down. Luke Taylor is in that group as well. Oh my goodness, it is going to be fraught with problems for this group to get back on. They're going to make 7 riders here. I think they're the last group who have got a chance of getting back in touch with leaders behind. You can see that are 1s and 2s. Let's jump back to the next group. This is a Raccoon, who is out there. Right is in this group. Coos looks Craig Herring getting caught out there. Looks like Millie Skinner in this group as well. So Skinner is in this group, and it is still a real select group with people like Herring in here, Skinner in here, Atkinson, Farrand in here, Bird is in here. It looks like Crehan is in here, and Bird definitely has been a rider who's been putting some serious watts out. Now's the time he needs to use it. They've just caught up with Sims, Farrand and Atkinson. This is a big group. Can they use this to their advantage? Can they close down the gap in front? It's over 20 seconds now to the Russ Downing group. We're going to try and drop back a little bit. Let's go back to the Lightfoot group. This is the Lightfoot group. This is the next group on the road. Now, Gail Phillips is in this group. It looks like Edith Gilbert in this group as well. Let's just zoom out. Edith Gilbert there in the orange. Hampton is in here. Looks like Gail Phillips. Ted's in this group. Fraser is in here. Sutcliffe is in this group as well. Ketty's in the group. All these sort of riders working well behind. It looks like Barnard just about trying to get into the group. Jury dropped a little bit. Then Holmes, Catley, Knight, Chris from the Alliance MTB. Looks like the women's lap leader. This is Emma Payne. At the moment with no group. She's got a group at 9 seconds behind. But looks like Chris from the Alliance MTB squad gone off the front here, and could well be. She's not going to get in touch with him. She's currently on 13 seconds. Catley's just up the road here from Barnsley. McLaughlin A little bit further back, Maddie Smith are a little bit further back still. It looks like there are some seriously dead legs out there. So let's have a little bit of a look. We're going to slowly work our way up through these groups. They're all chasing. At the moment, the two women sprint leaders and lap leaders have been distanced. We're currently with group number 4 on the road. We're trying to get ourselves right up to our leaders. It's taking a little bit of work, and that is quite simple because it is really, really quick. Let's get in with Lindley at the minute. Lindley in here in that flat cap at the moment, just rolling alongside the shoulders of Russ. Let's have a little bit of a look. We're going to try and whip our way around and see where these riders are at the moment. It is pretty tough on the front. We're now at 36k. Looks like Miller right up in with the kill. Cass is in here. James Allen, after all that early work in this group as well. So real who's who up here at the moment. Matt Manicki in here. Looks like Lee Allen in here. Mackins in here. Gareth Mason, the fat sidelies in here. Welch Randy. So we're going to have one more lap to go when we hit the line this time. This is your leading group. Mel Blackford in it, Dave Hyam in there, Russ Downing, Billy No Mates, one of our regulars in it, Callaway's in here, Greg Thornley is in here. Let's have a little bit of a look. Adi Dench is in here as well. Osman's made it, Scott's in it. On Scott, looks like Dan Evans is in as well. Who is it going to be? Who's going to be able to hold in? This is still a big group. I expect this to split on the next time up the climb. But this is moving incredibly quickly indeed at the moment. So this is the leading group. Kemp in here. Rick Van der Gate is in, Clayton is in this, Chris Pritchard just rolling around the back. They've just got a new fastest lap on the way around. A very quick lap that time. It looks like Welch Brandy just rolling around on the front. Russ moving his way up there as well. This is a very quick group. 1 or 2 riders fighting to stay on the wheels at the moment. You can just see from that helicopter shot is really starting to wind up on the front, and riders starting to drift further and further back. So here they go. They're on the way in and through. Remember, we're now on our way up towards the sprint. We're on to the climb. We're on to that ascent. And this is where things get really tricky indeed for the riders. If you let the gap go, you are going to be off the back. It looks at the moment like just about most people holding on. 1 or 2 slight gaps. Sam Emsley in the danger zone there. Peacock's in the danger zone. Stallard at the back here. Billy No Mates could be in danger here. Pritchard as well. This is the back of the group, and this is where you are going to get distance as it goes over the top 4 riders at the moment in danger here. Evans, Pritchard, Stone, Emsley and Thornley all in danger. All these riders here are going to be in big trouble if they're not careful. It looks like Luke Taylor, Pete Howison, there's group 2 at 30 seconds leading that group along. Group 1 at the moment, it's one long line, and as you can see, these 4 are losing ground with every pedal stroke. Looks like Callaway just currently the nearest rider to the front group being distanced as well. So Callaway looks like he's gone. Billy No Mates is going. He's in trouble here as well. Billy No Mates struggling. Genther is just about in a touch here. Can he hold on to the back of the group? That gap has opened up. He's got 3 riders in front. Pearson, Richardson, Matthews there. Blackman, I think he's at the back of the main group. Let's take a little bit of a look. What's that gap? He's just about holding it. Can he push on over the top? Russ is putting the hammer down low. He's putting the hurt on at the front, and Russ has opened up a gap here on his way. He's trying to close it down. Riders in front of him at the moment. Blackman's now paying the price. We've just seen him kick on 7 watts per kilo at the moment, trying to chase down. Meanwhile, up on the front, he is very quick indeed. We're just going to work our way towards the very front of this group. We're looking for Russ, and I think it's Toby Perry who's gone for it here. It's Perry who's gone hard very early. the man who's helping out the riders earlier on. He is opening the gap up here. Perry has gone hard here. He missed the attack as he came up over the top. He's holding the 6 watts per kilo at the moment. Now Perry, trained by Downey Cycling, is one of our very quick riders. We know he's on form. He'd had an accident over in Spain. He's on recovery now, but he's looking like he could be in with the shout. The work that he's done up the climb and over the top is definitely distancing the riders, but they are coming back to him here. You just see it's 3 seconds. OZK, Peacock, Sabrandi working hard to close that gap down. And that work by Perry that he's done, he can't afford to do too much. In front of him are lapped cyclists in front. He's going to be closing down on them very, very quickly indeed. Clayton here doing the work, pulling him back. He's the rider who comes over the top. Running in here with Dench at the moment, with Eddie Dench, who's rolling his way around up onto the front of the group. And you can see it is very, very quick indeed now. Question is somebody going to go long? Can anybody break this group up? Miller from Fusion rolling around near the front here. Matt Mannequin up near the front as well. Little is in there. Little has shown his cards maybe a little bit early on a previous lap. But Dencher is though, with Scott, Bundy, OZK, all working hard here, all trying to keep this group clear of the chasers behind. I don't think they're going to have too much of a problem with that, because as you can see there's now clear air behind them. The question is, who has got the speed to finish this off in a sprint? Will it be Kieran Smith? Will the fat cyclist who is in here? He's got to be the man to watch. He's got a phenomenal sprint. He's the man with the 9.28 on the uphill sprint. Remember, he's 100 kilos of cyclist normally. I think he's lost a fair few of those kilos on his way round, riding on the Downey Cycling DonnyChainGang here. At the moment, absolutely everybody is nailing this, and that looks to me like it is a very, very quick start at the moment. He's currently kicking out 300 watts in the rows per minute. He's definitely wrong on that one, because he's doing a whole lot more than one on his way through. Just watching Bundy here now. He's in this group, and looks to me like Bundy in the SIS is feeling strong. He keeps on rolling his way through to the front. This is a very, very close orange banner for the finishing line. At the moment, James Allen is on the front again. This is a trademark Allen move now. As they go up past Bolt and Collier, it's Allen trying to take advantage of that, and here we go. Allen pushes on. Scott has to respond. There's one more uphill on the run into the line, and Allen it is who's got the slight gap to Scott, who's working to close him down. The question is, who is going to be the fast man? Who's going to be the quick rider? Who can close this gap? Who can stop a long one taking effect? Will it be Sabrandi who comes in to take this? He could be the wild card in this. The fat cyclist though, Gareth Mason, he is the man who is expected by many to do the damage. We're going to jump in with him now. Let's see if he can hold on to this group going up the hill. Just watching Kieran Smith putting in some big numbers here. Russ moving up onto the front as well. Mason has to hold the wheels here. He's sitting in third wheel. He's using a fair bit of power to stay in that second place. He doesn't want to do too much. Russ on the front at the moment. Let's see how this plays out. Stallard just feeling the pressure going towards the back of that group. You can just see it's very, very tight. Phil OZK in the red moving up on the outside there. Sabrandi in the blue and white moving up as well. Who has got the power? Who's got the pace to take this out? These riders are working well at the moment. It's very, very close together. Who's going to be able to pull clear? Can anybody break it at this stage? I don't think they can. It's going to come down to a sprint. We're in with the fat cyclist. The man who's sitting in the back, he's doing the least work of anybody at the moment. Rolling around at the back, just not spending too much energy. He's got to get the timing right for the sprint. He's got the green jersey. Can he make it the win here? As he is sat in with this group, we're going to try and follow these riders all the way into the finish. Timing is everything here. Absolutely critical to get this nailed. Now the fat cyclist making a move up on the side. Can he close them down? You can see the banner's going to come. Has he gone too soon? Has he gone too late? He's holding the wheels at the moment. Dench is in there, and it could be that the fat cyclist is going to have to lead this out. He's gone to the front. He's going to be leading them out. Right behind him is Stevenson here. Can Stevenson close this down? They're coming in towards the line. Stevenson is closing on the wheels here, but the fat cyclist takes it. Stevenson takes second. It's going to be Perry, I think, coming through to take third place. They're just double checking with Scott. Kieran Smith coming through, but the fat cyclist does it again. 2 in a row for the big man. Doing the business here, taking victory on the Champs-Élysées. Fantastic ride there, and holding off some very, very big names indeed to take a victory. Now we are going to try and drop back a little bit here on the course to our next riders on the way in. This is our next group on the road at the moment. Now, Richardson leading them out. We know he's worked really, really hard during the course of the ride. He got himself right up there. But has he done enough? And Matthews moves to the front in the SIS jersey. Let's see if he's done enough. Mel Blackford now moving on the side. Richardson pushing up the watts here. Who is going to pull the pace out as they come in? I think Blackford's going to get this. Blackford goes for it. It is Mel Blackford who gets it. Then Osman behind Pearson. Richardson, Matthews, and then Blackman. They go through. So we're going to jump to our next group on the way in. Now, of this group, who's going to get it? Is it going to be Luke Stone on that Tron bike? Is Craig Genther going to hit this? Is he going to be the man kicking it out for victory here? It looks like Genther's moved up. Thornley we're with at the moment. Who is going to take this? Callaway's gone hard though, and Callaway's just opening up a little bit of a gap. It's going to be Callaway, then Genther coming through, followed by Emsley, Thornley and Pritchard. Great riding as they come through. This is our next group coming in. It's very, very quick indeed, and I think it's going to be Pete Howis who can take this. Craig Herring is coming up. We're with Herring at the moment. The question is, can they close down on Howis? Hayward's on his wheel. It's going to be close. Is he going to get him? Oh, he was so close there. Herring Howis. It looks like George Cooper almost getting that, and the women's winner that is going to be Millie Skinner, the first of our women in across the line at the same time there. Jess Evans rolling in through and across the line. We're just with Edith Gilbert. Gilbert coming through, just taking the women's spot there from Gail Phillips, our next rider in and through the line. Riders coming through so quickly now. Out on the course now. We're going to be with Matlick is our next rider out. Apologies if we missed you on the way through. It's so many riders coming through so quickly. Very difficult to call absolutely everybody into the line there, as we're trying to keep up with everybody. But Matlock's going to be our next rider in. So Matlock comes in and through. Great riding by him. He's going to come through just in front of the group with Catley, Barnard, Holmes, Jury in that group. So this is the next group. The question is, who are we going to try and pick here? Who's going to have the speed out of this group? Let's have a little bit of a look. Looks like Knight it could well be who's going to be taking victory here. Just trying to get the camera to pan round fast enough here. It is going to be a Knight who takes it, then Barnard, followed by Drury, Catley and Holmes go across the line almost together. Behind them then, I think this is going to be our next group. This is going to be the group containing Barton, Williams. Looks like Emma Pate in this group as well. Chris Heseltine James in here. So Chris Heseltine James in the group. And just focusing on Chris there before we jump back out again. Now Barton on the front in the multicolour day glow strip. Then it is Heseltine James in the black. Paint in the green. In the grey is going to be McLaughlin moving up at the moment. Looks like it's going to be Payne who's going to be working for the sprint. It's Payne who takes the sprint there. Coming through from Barton, McLaughlin, Heseltine James and Williams. We're going to drop back to our next group on the road, and I think it's going to be quite a jump back from this group to Hawkins. So Hawkins having a lonely ride at the moment. So Hawkins, it is at the moment on his way in towards the underpass. Behind him, looks like we've got Maddie Smith. Smith in with Miss Cookie here, which is Sarah there in the blue, Maddie Smith in the green, Donahue in the light blue, I think it is, in the light blue or the grey. Let's have a little bit of a look. It is going to be light blue there. And on the Zwift concept bike, just got on right up in the sky. That's a neat trick. I couldn't do that again. So Hawkins 33 seconds in front, then it's Donahue, Smith and Cookie. Then it's going to be Johnson on his way around. So Johnson working to close that gap down. Let's jump back across towards Hawkins, which is easier said than done with the pace everybody's riding at the moment. So Hawkins down, up off the underpass, now on to the final stretch down the side of the Tuileries Gardens, riding along currently 270, 80 watts per kilo, 190. A little bit of variation here. Is revs nice and steady though, and currently covered 42k. So working hard there. Just taking a little bit of a look up in front. I think McLaughlin is having to go around for one more lap. It's only showing us 39k. He's already jumped into the ride late, so we'll focus back with Mr. Hawkins at the moment. So currently Mick Hawkins currently running at 34k PH. Behind looks like Cookie, Donahue and Smith at 31 seconds, and to give you an indication how far that is, it's about half of the straight alongside the Tuileries Gardens between Hawkins, Cookie, Smith and Donahue. That chasing group working to try and close that gap down. So Hawkins, another of the Bolsover District Cycling Club riders, on his way round to line himself up for the gantry very shortly. Well, there you go. You can see if we jump to a rider's view, this is what Mr. Hawkins is seeing. Mick now on the first section of the race. It levels off, as you can see, and then it goes uphill again slightly to the line. It's just going to level off fractionally here before the final kick up to the line. Hawkins looking very, very good here, holding that pace all the way through towards the line, looking like he is going to go through nice and smoothly, holding those watts, holding that heart rate nice and steady. So well done to Mick. Mick finishing his ride underneath the gantry. As we jump across now, we have Sarah, Maddie and Vic here. This is Donahue, the rider from Barnsley, in the light blue, alongside a former national champion, that is Maddie Smith. Smith, one of the Bolsover riders in this group, in the green. So Donahue in the light blue, Smith in the green, Cookie in the camo, the blue camo, and I suspect Donahue is going to just put enough pressure on here to hold that line. Cookie's responding now. Cookie's gone for it here. Sarah Grimshaw giving it some beans here, and massive watts per kilo as she goes across the line, just pipping Donahue. Then Smith, great riding there by all three who had worked together so well to the end, and looks like Cookie taking it there from Donahue, followed by Smith. Great riding, guys, and good to see our riders working together. Next out on the course, it is going to be Carl Johnson. He's our next rider. The side of the Tuileries Gardens, heading in towards the line. Carl doing the business once again, another of our regular riders, and on his way in. So here comes Carl on his way through, looking smooth. 200 plus watts on his way in, 161 beats per minute at the moment, still rolling at 90 revs per minute on his way round the final corner. Soon he's going to be lining himself up with that straight. You can just see it coming in front of him here. Carl Johnson looking smooth on his way towards the line. Not too far to go here in Paris. The final time we're going to be in France for a little while now on the DonnyChainGang. Don't forget to support the people who make this possible, who support Downing Cycling. And those are the guys at Grand Tour Coffee, Halo Wheels, Pinarello, guys at OTE, Mallorca Cycling, all looking after Russ and Dean doing the businesses. Carl Johnson comes in and across the line. Great ride by Carl at the finish line, and we're going to drop back to two more riders. We've got Charlie Babbitt and Martin Bob, followed by Emma Collier on the way towards line. All these riders are just making their way up. You can just see the rise being crested and dropped down into the tunnel. Charlie Babbitt and Martin Bob working well together, this duo. Underneath the underpass, underneath the gardens at the bottom, before coming on to the last climb of the day, and before we get to the line and that slight rise in the proper climb here, kicking up to 7% as you come around the corner, but it's only literally a few meters, one or two pedal strokes at most. So the guys are working well at the moment, looking good and looking like they are going to go together to the line. So our two riders on the way in. Babbitt on front doing the work here, driving this along. He's a good driver, he is. So don't forget, myself, Matt Payne, Russ down doing all this, getting all of the Chain Gang out to you on the Downing Cycling YouTube channel. Don't forget you can get hold of the technical t-shirts from the guys at Downing Cycling, from Russ or Dean. You get in touch with Russ at Downing Cycling. And get in touch with me, that's Matt at Full Speed Events. Don't forget, at the moment, Russ and myself mentioned to get all this out to you, and we will need your support. Don't get, as Russ says, if you've got spare work I'm kicking about, get it back. I can show off my rusty suntan, or lack of suntan. Don't forget, of course, that we're always happy to support people who can support the Chain Gang, whether that is OT supporting our riders with prizes, whether it is guys at 1080 with this fantastic ugly competition. We've got lots more competitions and prizes due to come up as well. We're going to be looking forward to getting those to you. We're going to continue the Chain Gang next Tuesday, and of course on Tuesday, the link for Tuesday and for Thursday on the Facebook page. Make sure you give us a like. Make sure that you get the comments in there. That's where all the banter is, and that's of course where you get all of the details of the next ride. Don't forget, of course, make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel. Lots of our riders taking advantage of the YouTube channel to get themselves up to date with what's been happening when they're not riding, whether that's because they're injured on holiday or just because they fancy a night off every now and then. So the two riders working well. They're going to come in to the line pretty much together here and underneath the country on the Champs-Élysées, the finishing line for the Tour de France and the finishing line for the Chain Gang as they go through. Charlie Babbitt and Martin Bolt through the line, which leaves us our last rider out on course. This is Emma Collier, and Emma, I'm sure, probably looking forward to the cyclocross up at Westmoreland. It's due to take place in about 9 days' time, in fact, and really looking forward to be back on the mic live up there. So if we don't see you before then on the Chain Gang, don't forget to make sure that you get yourselves up to the showground at Westmoreland for the National Trophy Cyclocross, first of the National Series since we've had the shutdowns with the COVID situation. It was, we started doing the Chain Gang, in fact, all those months ago. So as we watch Emma Collier on her way into the line. Also, a massive thank you to everybody who's been riding. Please remember, guys, listen to the instructions, watch what Russ is saying on the screen. That's how it works for everybody on the chain gang. We want everybody to enjoy it. If you're fast, go at the back, help the riders into the front. Makes a big difference. I know quite a few Twitchy legs today, with it being the last one in France, going up to Champs-Élysées. We've got lots more in store for you throughout the season. Don't forget, of course, to support the people who support your sport. You can see the logos flashing through. A massive thank you to the guys from Zwift, because without Zwift, none of this platform is possible, and I can't keep in practice for when we do get live events. A big thank you to Wahoo, to Muckov, to 1080, to OT, to Pinarello, Halo, Mallorca Cycling. Don't forget, of course, the DonnyChainGang is going to be heading over to Mallorca in the spring of next year in May, and all those details on the Facebook page as well. Russ leading the ride out there, as well as leading the ride virtually here as well. So, with Emma Collier having come through the line, it just remains for me, Matt Payne, to say time for more coffee, time for more OT for me, get the voice lubricated, ready for next week. In the meantime, enjoy the ride over the weekend. From me, Matt Payne, from Russ and everybody at Downing Cycling, have a great weekend. We'll see you for the next DonnyChainGang.